Hello and welcome to my channel. I am the artist known as, or aka for short, and you have stumbled upon Eyes Shut Art. If you're new here, this is where I scribble in my sketchbook with my eyes shut and try and make a piece of art from it afterwards, all while telling a story. If you're already subscribed, you're the best, welcome back. If not, slap that little red button down there. And on that note, let's get into it. So, alright, here we go. Like all good stories, this one starts out on a Thursday morning in high school. Around 10 o'clock, I was going into third period, which happened to be my film class. And it was the only class that gave us complete freedom for about an hour and a half to do whatever the fuck we wanted. Pretty much we could go get our friends out of class, we could go film around campus, we could sit inside on the computer and watch YouTube or edit our videos all day. We could go into other classes and film stuff depending on who the teacher was. We could go to the office and mess around there. The only thing we technically weren't allowed to do was leave campus unless you got a special slip permitting you to do so, which was very rare because students a couple years before us had just taken advantage of it, obviously, as one would do if they were given the option to just leave school whenever they wanted. So they were very particular on when they gave out those slips, but we didn't really care, so we would just leave. And there was pretty much no way that the teacher could find out because she would have to be walking around the campus and see us leaving or see us coming back to even have an idea that we were doing that. And we would just take full advantage of it, as all the other kids did who ruined it for us, but we just didn't get the slips. So we decided that we would pretty much go longboarding every single day. That was the thing we used to do. We would take our buddy's car, drive out into the residential hills and the neighborhoods and all that, and just bomb hills. I don't know if anybody here is a longboarder or a skateboarder who used to do that, but it's very, very fun. But after a while, walking up hills was just too much. Like, who wants to walk up for 5 minutes on a hill just to go down it for 10 to 15, 30 seconds, It got exhausting. Come on. Who wants to walk up a fucking hill 30 times in an hour? So we decided that, hey, we have a car, let's just roll down the windows, grab the side, and our buddy can drive us up. It pretty much equals the amount of time going down would take. So our lives just immediately, everything improved. Who doesn't want to get towed by a car? Let's be real. But that's not even where this story gets good, because that was all fine and dandy going up the hill. We were a little cautious because it was the first time we were getting towed by a car like that. But it was so convenient that we didn't really even stop to think how dangerous it was. And then, as things progressed, we thought, why not see how fast we can go? So we found a long straight road where you could get towed pretty much, and we would hold on and watch the speedometer through the window while we were holding on to the car. And I think the highest we hit was maybe 35 or 40. But holy shit, that was fucking nuts. I do not endorse doing this. If you are a kid or even an adult listening, do not tow yourself with a car, especially at those speeds. It's just completely reckless and dangerous. Don't do it. You will potentially have a story like me that doesn't end up as good. So even then, we weren't even questioning how dangerous this was. Nobody had ever gotten hurt doing it. We were still just having the fucking time of our lives, going 40 miles an hour down the street holding onto a car. With no helmets, mind you. For the most part, we barely wore helmets because, cool kids don't wear helmets. That was the thing. I don't know if kids still say that shit, but when I was a kid, you didn't want to wear a helmet just because people would look at you different, or even if they weren't, you would think they were. Anyways, so getting towed by the car, 40 miles an hour going down the street, no helmet, and that was great. And in between we would have to take a little spliff break, just cause And so one day, this is where the story is gonna start getting a little more interesting. One day we're sitting there on the side of a little cul-de-sac area, taking a little spliff break, sitting by the car with our boards and everything. And we had helmets with us. Like it wasn't like we were not bringing them with us, we just never wore them. And so during the spliff break, we're all hanging out, chatting, and then we finish up. We're like, all right, let's go hit another hill. Everyone's hopping in the car, and I think, I'm just gonna get towed this whole way from where we are. I'll just grab onto the car and cruise along with them. I don't need to sit in the back seat, And so I yell to my homie who's getting in the driver's seat, yo, I'm gonna grab on. And I don't know whether it was the spliff or he just wasn't paying attention, he was in another conversation or what, but I grabbed onto the car and I was on the sidewalk on my board, and he hit the gas way too fucking hard. And I'm trying to keep my balance. I ride off the curb all jumpy and jolty like, because I'm on a fucking board getting jolted forward. And I hit the road going probably 15 miles an hour off the bat. And I'm trying to keep my balance. I'm holding onto the car. And then all of a sudden I realize my board and my feet have started moving underneath the car. And in an instant, it's like, well, bam! I don't want to yell, sorry. But it happened within seconds. And my foot went under the wheel. I don't even remember how it happened, but all I remember is flying backwards, the car going over my legs, and my head hitting the ground, and me bouncing all the way back up into a sitting position, like 90 degrees, sitting back up. And the only reason I think I even survived that was because I happened to put on my fucking helmet before I grabbed onto that car. I think it was because we had everything out, and when I was not getting in the car, I was just grabbing on. I just happened to put it on, but I mean, fucking 1 in a million chances I would have worn that helmet at that time, and that is the only reason I lived. So if you take anything away from this story, it would be put on a fucking helmet when you go out. Doesn't make you look stupid, it saves your fucking life. And from then on, I think we toned down the getting towed by the cars. But I mean, that was crazy. So I bounce into the sitting position. The car screeches to a halt. My friends run out. They're like, holy fuck, we thought we killed you. And I'm like, I look at my feet. My foot had got run over. It wasn't broken. I don't know how I got so lucky, but I literally only bruised it. My foot went like from a little yellowy, dark yellow bruise to a purple to a black, and then healed back. It probably took about 2 weeks. But I didn't break it. I was able to walk around on it, and we drove back to school, because it was only third period. It was still the morning. Drove back to school, and then from then I had to go set up an assembly for my leadership class. And I walk into the big hall, and go to my teacher, who also happens to be my vice principal, for the leadership class. And I'm like, hey, I need to go get a bag of ice for my foot. She goes, oh, why? And I'm like, my friend ran me over yesterday after school when we were skateboarding. It definitely wasn't 30 minutes ago while I was ditching class. Obviously I didn't say that, but I'm not sure whether she bought it or not, but she didn't really ask me too many more questions, just sent me to the nurse's office. I got a bag of ice and came back and set up the assembly for the school. Um, yeah. Mom, if you're listening to this, I am really sorry this is how you found out, because I never told you this story, for obvious reasons. And if you're listening, take the one thing away that I said is just wear a fucking helmet. And maybe don't get towed by cars either on a skateboard. Not necessarily the safest thing to do. In hindsight, it is very fun. I will say that, but I'm also not endorsing it. Stay safe. Take care of your fucking body. Anyways, this has been my Eyes Shut story time. I hope you liked this one. I got another great story on the way for you after this. So stay tuned. Hit the like button if you liked this. If you're new, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much for listening to me ramble and liking it. Other than that, have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Shoops.